Husband suspended from his job after he was drugged. My husband works the night shift at a factory job. We live in Alabama. While at work, a then close friend offered him candy, not disclosing it was loaded with THC. Knowing that my husband doesn't do any type of drugs, my husband got sick and was high off of his ass. The company caught everything on camera. The ex-friend and another person who took it knowing what it was got fired immediately. But they only suspended my husband. He told them over and over that he was never told it was a THC gummy. This was on Halloween night, and he has not been contacted since except by a doctor who just told him his test was positive. But he already knew that OFC. He has tried to contact HR but isn't getting an answer. He isn't getting paid for any of this and is set to get a bonus in a few days. But we don't know if he will even get that. Any advice? Employee benefit broker consultant here, EVP 20 years. The business. Run. Don't walk. To your local police department and demand file a report. Get a lawyer. Then take a deep breath. Your company is absolutely fucked. You're in a very good position. Get a lawyer and have them do all the communicating. 1. File the report. 2. Get lawyer. 3. Lawyer tells your company about the police report. Then she hands the company a tub of lube as a kind gesture. Run. No walking. It would seem to me that the employer has some liability here if your husband got dosed by another employee on the job. You can mention to HR that you are holding the company equally responsible and see if their tone doesn't change. That's a workplace injury. He should file for comp. He should consider filing a workman's comp claim. He suffered a work-related injury that has caused him to lose time. He was poisoned by a coworker. That might change the company's approach to this situation. He was drugged and needs to file a police report. Then send that to his hour. Workplace injury. File. HR isn't answering because they are waiting to see how much shit they are in from their lawyer and how to spin it as not their issue. Could he file a police report that he was drugged and get a lawyer? Alabama is a terrible state for workers' rights. Obviously talk to an employment lawyer. If that is the reason for being fired and they have not given him a chance to appeal, the lawyer is the one to rely on. Although we do play lawyer on Reddit. Edit just realized he was only suspended. Losing his job would be the time to talk to a lawyer. Speak with an employment attorney. There are several factors at play here. A strongly worded letter from an attorney might make HR think twice before putting anything toxic in his personnel file. I also agree that he was basically poisoned on the job and the company is liable. Obviously their training was inadequate and didn't include a section on not dosing colleagues on Halloween. Assume the worst and move accordingly. Not sure if it was mentioned or not, but if your husband was given a drug that was actually represented to be a normal candy, this could be a criminal offense. While the side effects were not life-threatening, this could still be considered being poisoned or, in my county, administering a noxious substance. The offense in my country ranges from administering a substance meant to annoy the person up to significant harm. Might want to contact the police. That is assault in the workplace. Tell the police. Did your husband file a police report? Drugging someone is against the law. If you want your employer to take you seriously, you have to play their game. Contact a lawyer. You were poisoned. That's assault. Call the cops. Technically, your husband was drugged or poisoned. If he pressed charges on the guy who did it, that may go a long way in keeping his job. It's illegal for jobs to fire a victim of a crime when that crime happened on company time. Lawyer up. This is a workplace injury assault caught in 4K. You need to get as much evidence as possible. Police report then hour. He really should file a police report against his coworker. Don't bother with HR, they are just figuring out how to twist things so they can fire your husband. Before that bonus, talk to an employment attorney and gather up all documentation and proof that he was not told what that candy had in it. HR is trying to weasel their way out of any bonuses given to you. Lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Your husband should sue the ex-friend and the company. Investigate a possible connection between the two. Did the company pay the ex-friend to do this in order to avoid paying out the bonus? Sue for the bonus. And for future lost wages, since this might affect your husband's job prospects. Your husband was drugged while at work by an employee who was fired on the spot for doing the drugging. Seems to me your husband has a good case against the company for their lack of safety protocols. Your husband was drugged on the job. Get a lawyer, get that bag. If he takes legal action against the ex-friend for poisoning, it'll give his story more legs, but if he does nothing, they're going to assume he's full of shit and trying to avoid discipline. Your husband should talk to a labor lawyer. He was poisoned by a coworker and suspended for it. Think about it this way. If your husband was poisoned some other way, say Visine in his water bottle, that friend would be looking at jail time. There's also the chance that your husband could have been seriously injured by the gummy. What if he was allergic to cannabis? The employer was right to fire the other two employees. Your husband was poisoned by his coworkers. This isn't a joke. It's not funny. He should definitely escalate this matter. I read here company is liable. And yup, that should be the case. One of the company's employees drugged another employee without their consent. There shouldn't be any repercussions. If anything, he should be given an apology or something. If they fire him because of this, I would definitely get some legal advice. It's illegal to drug someone. You have to file a police report immediately if he wants to keep his job. Absolutely file a police report. You need a police report to show that you're serious. Otherwise, it's just a story you're telling. You can report the guy who dosed him to the cops and pursue him for monetary losses from the suspension or not getting a bonus in small claims court. Contact a local employment lawyer immediately. Your husband needs to report he was drugged to the police. He needs to talk to a lawyer and file a police report before he talks to anyone else. Goes back to work. Talks to our anything. He's suspended and not hearing anything because HR and their legal teams are scrambling to find something. Anything that eliminates any liability, as well as find a reason to fire him without any redress. They might contact him and ask seemingly innocent questions that will implicate him. Get written or recorded evidence. Do any and all wormy bullshit to fuck him over. He needs a lawyer. Has your husband spoken to police? This has to be some form of assault? Definitely should have contacted police and filed a report and contact an employment lawyer ASAP. Report this to the police, and did husband go to her? Is he pressing charges against the other employee? If not, he should. You need to file a police report against the friend and the employer. The friend was on the clock. The employer holds some responsibility here. Your husband was drugged at work by a coworker. That's a crime. He needs legal backing if he hopes to keep his job. First, he needs to file a police report. Then make an official complaint with HR. If that doesn't work, he needs to talk to lawyer. Rattle some cages and fight back. Contact an employment lawyer ASAP. You should also consider contacting the police and filing a complaint. What the friend did is illegal.